What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Town Square with Chasing Cinema.
Mr. James Hsu.
.com, and we're here to talk about a movie that I'm curious if...
It will go a spoonful of sugar.
Make that medicine go down, yeah.
I was trying to word that so it would be
but,
funny, but that came out more awkward than anything. I'll admit that.
And here's the deal, it's okay.
Very much like Aquaman. But if you want to know more about Aquaman, check out our review.
I've never seen the original Mary Poppins. I'm curious.
Doesn't surprise me.
I'm curious, is Mary Poppins Returns something that I need to watch? And do I need to watch the first one, Chasing Cinema? Talk to me.
I think Mary Poppins Returns is worth your time.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how much of yourself you will give to the movie, because it does ask a lot of its audience, and I don't mean that in the terms of like it asks you to be patient or it asks you to like give your sympathy or energy, but it is a movie that's told in an old-timey way, and I don't think movies are made so much like this anymore that it might be kind of challenging for some viewers. And I don't mean that to start this off review like super deep. Yes, let's go simple. Let's get back up to the surface of the water and say Mary Poppins Returns is a very fun movie. I think it's very cute. It is all the heartwarming things that you kind of want out of these type of movies. Do I think it will be, hailed as one of Disney's better films? No, I think it works, and it's great to see these characters again, sort of, because obviously they're different characters. But I think it works for what it is. Do I think that we need 4 or 5 more Mary Poppins movies? No. But I think it was nice to kind of revisit these characters.
Emily Blunt, Best Actress?
No, I don't think so. Not in terms of... I mean, she does very good, and she just did this great thing with James Corden, the 12 or 22 musicals in 12 minutes or whatever it was, and she's extraordinarily talented, and I don't think it would have been easy to walk in such a legendary role's shoes. I mean, I would think most actors would say no to playing Mary Poppins, because everyone says, we know who Mary Poppins is, we know how she talks, we know how she works, and while Emily Blunt doesn't try to mimic Julie Andrews, she does a really great job of creating the character for herself.
You liked her better as an actress? You liked her better in A Quiet Place?
No. I think she's very good here. I do.
What does she do a better job in?
In
Mary
Poppins.
Okay.
Because, well, first of all, just going in, she had a lot more to take on. I think, it's hard to deal with, and there's so much to deal with. I mean, she's working with young children. She's walking in the footsteps of a legendary character that people are going to hold the standard to. Julie Andrews. She has to sing and dance. I mean, there's a lot more elements here that she has to manipulate. And while she's very good, I think there are some stronger performances in terms of like what we look for in awards. Lin-Manuel Miranda continues to prove that he is a force to be reckoned with.
Unless he's done bad tweets or homophobic rants, Disney will never let him go.
Yeah, and unless no one digs any of that out. I mean, this is a guy who's extremely talented and just so fun to watch on screen. While most of us know him as Alexander Hamilton, he is so enjoyable here as a Dick Van Dyke-esque character. A person who goes and lights the street lamps at night and works kind of in the dirty grime of things.
How's he write all that music, man?
Well, he actually didn't write the music for this movie. But he sings a lot. He sings one of the main songs of the movie that I'm sure we will get nominated for Best Song. There are a few songs that they have a couple nominated. And that was another thing. I think the music is solid in this movie, but really, I kind of want to go back to the thing I touched with in the beginning of the review, is that this movie kind of goes to a classic way of storytelling that we saw in these kids' movies, like Mary Poppins. It feels very Mary Poppins-esque because it is constantly asking you just to go with it. I mean, one minute they're in the bathtub, the next they're in an ocean riding dolphins, the next we're in an animated world. I mean, it constantly changes our setting, and we're somewhat set in reality, but also this fantasy. And it's almost like... it's the perfect example of what you would expect like a Seth Rogen, James Franco dream to be like, right? Like it's almost like this stoner hallucinating world that you kind of feel like you step in because things are constantly changing, things are really weird. Mary Poppins is on a giant whale at one point, and like you fall in the hole of the bathtub. I mean, there's all these really weird kind of quirky things. Which is how the
first one is, right?
Yeah, it definitely lines up with that kind of weirdness. You just kind of... But it's not so much linear in the terms of like this coincides to this scene and this coincides to this scene. Sure, of course, the story's going in order, but there are so many worlds and aspects that we're jumping in and out of that it's almost kind of like, whoa, I think My only gripe here is that the second act kind of drags a little. While I am a huge Meryl Streep fan, and I think she's one of the best out there, I don't think her giant scene in this movie really works. It kind of just drags along, and I think at that point we kind of need to cut that fat right there and get back to the story. I think that's where the dragging kind of happens. But the beginning, I mean, as soon as Mary Poppins arrives, to the bath scene that I keep referencing, to the world when we go into an actual vase, we go into the world of a painted vase, and that becomes the animated world. How they did that, I absolutely loved. You know, if you go back to the old Mary Poppins, and we had our characters dancing with penguins and being a part of this animated world, and really that was just kind of having these characters against animation. And here we really blend the two worlds so well. Yes, there's animation, yes, there's live action, but the way that, for instance, there is a carriage in the movie that they ride on that looks animated, but just through set design and art direction isn't animated. So there are things in that animated sequence where you're like, oh, that's drawn, that's real, that's drawn, that's drawn, that's real, that will actually make you look at it a few times and go, oh, wait a minute, that's not drawn, that's actually real, in just the way that they do. And then I think that's incredible. Like, as far as art direction, set design, I think Mary Poppins, you know, for sure has
get nominated.
Yeah, unless you're going with Roma, another movie we talked about here, which you can check out the review for. But I mean, this movie is just full of colors, full of fun, full of charm. I'm not going to say it's a spoiler because he has been advertised in the movie. I think he's even in the trailer. Dick Van Dyke's appearance is really sweet and kind.
Is that him dancing?
I don't know if that's him dancing.
What do you think?
From what I saw, I would not think it was him dancing. Okay. But I mean, I didn't concentrate on that too much. And then we get the cameo from the lovely, wonderful Angela Lansbury. And as great as that is, because I was a huge... Like Mary Poppins, there was a film also by Disney called Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and that was a movie that I watched far more than Mary Poppins, which is Angela Lansbury kind of going into this animated world with these kids and showing them all these ways.
Oh, similar to Mary Poppins.
Very similar. It was great to see her, and especially being a fan of that movie. But all I kept wondering was...
Where's Julie Andrews?
Where is Julie Andrews? This is the perfect opportunity for Julie Andrews, and then you told me that because she can no longer sing, she probably, or someone had told me, because she no longer sings is probably why she turned down the role, because she has Angela Lansbury sings one of the closing songs that isn't exactly reminiscent of Let's Go Fly a Kite, but has the same mood and energy. And if you don't know that, that's the concluding song of the last movie when everyone realizes that family is more important than business and let's be fun.
Family is more important than business? It is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The whole point of the first movie is Let's Go Fly a Kite, because the banks aren't important. It's turning into a techno rave here.
Sorry,
it's
guys.
almost like being in Mary Poppins Returns. No, I mean, honestly, I think this is a strong move from Disney. It's been long enough where I think you can continue this story, though it doesn't take place much longer than the original Mary Poppins. While this movie's made
there's continuity problems, though, isn't there?
I'm sure there are a few.
Yeah, 'cause
nothing that really jumped out on me. But then again, I was never like a Mary Poppins diehard. But the fact that the Banks children are grown up now, but not extremely old. And now they have children of their own, and that's the whole point of why she comes. She comes to save the Banks children. Which one, I won't tell you, because there are two sets of Banks children in this movie. But I just don't.
Who is Tom Hanks' character in Saving Mr. Banks?
Walt Disney.
Okay. Who's Mr. Banks? And this has no relation with that?
Mr. Banks, no. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know how real Saving Mr. Banks is or how the origin of Mary Poppins came. But Mr. Banks is a character that was based on her father, the writer's father, who was a workaholic who worked in a bank.
Of Mary Poppins?
No. The writer of Mary Poppins,
yeah.
The writer of Mary Poppins wrote a story based on her, of a nanny who came, according to the movie at least, wrote a story about a hardworking dad who worked in a bank, whose mother wasn't around. Well, not around, she passes away, at least in that movie. And a nanny comes and saves the family.
Which is Mary Poppins.
Which inspires Mary Poppins. She writes a story about a magical nanny who comes and saves the family of a dad who works in a bank. And the whole movie is the point of telling you, the bank is fine, but your children need you. Go have fun. Go fly a kite with them. And that's how the movie ends. Here, we have those children now grown up who are kind of making similar mistakes with his children, and while trying to keep their family together, Mary Poppins has to come in and save them once again.
So kind of like Hook with Robin Williams.
Kind of, only, you know, Mary Poppins doesn't grow old.
Yeah.
She kind of stays the same. But the characters that she had once moved need her help again.
Okay.
But anyway, like I said, I thought it was charming. I doubt people would walk into Mary Poppins and be like, oh, this is stupid, you know? It's a very charming movie. I don't think it's as charming and heartfelt and like as maybe cotton candy as, let's say, The Greatest Showman. But I think it definitely will work for the family dynamic. But I am curious how kids will like it. I think this is a movie more for people who know Mary Poppins than it is for kids. I think because kids are used to being either the superhero movies, the animated movies, or the rare live action movie that kind of works for them. I think this is a blend of all three that they're not used to seeing. And that's kind of my point to the beginning is it's not what kids are used to seeing nowadays, but it is what we are. So I think it's easier for us to digest. Unless their parents made them watch old movies, which I would approve of. But yeah,
That's another subject.
yeah, it's a whole other topic.
All
But
right.
yeah, good stuff. I think it's good for the heart. Good
Okay.
good for the holidays. Perfect.
And if Mary Poppins Returns doesn't seem like your cup of tea, then you might want to dive into the sea
Yes.
with Aquaman.
With Aquaman, which movie which reviewed, or Roma, a very, very different movie from both of these as well. Click that wide eye. And really quick, I will give them credit. There was no reference to supercalifragilisticexpialidocious or a spoonful of sugar. And I thought those were like two cheap like go-tos that you could get like
The
a good,
easiest
like a
ones.
cheap pop, you know, like
Yeah.
supercalifragilistic, you know, but they didn't do that. So I give them good credit on that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our last movie premiere of the year.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
And then I didn't even mention at the beginning, Chasing actually just graduated from University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Thank you, sir. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
got his degree.
Repping
and
my alma mater. I get
now
to say that.
he's like serious. He's serious now.
Yeah, and we want to make sure you have a great holiday and a good New Year. But also, while you are celebrating New Year's, and may you be safe and enjoy the ringing in of 2019, make sure day one of 2019 you're
The
on your
recap.
computers because you're going to be watching our top 10 like we do every year. Yes, it is quite the event because it's like a 90-minute video. Maybe we'll do one of those new YouTube premieres because that's like the big thing now. I don't know how well they're actually doing, but
They don't do much. All the bottles and boxes we do premiere and
Okay, well, you know, but top 10 coming very soon. So this is it, and hopefully after that, it's maybe a week, hopefully, and then maybe 2 before we actually start doing premieres.
we do it again.
We do it all over again. 50 weeks for sure.
Love it. ChasingCinema.com is known as
Film Lovers website.